The headlines on RT International. Over 30 people, including 6 children, have been killed after a cargo plane crashed into a residential area very close to the capital of the Central Asian country of Kyrgyzstan. Donald Trump hints that U.S. sanctions against Russia could be lifted as he holds his first interview with the British media since becoming U.S. president-elect. And the leader of Austria's Freedom Party calls for a crackdown on the perceived Islamization of the country. And we hear from both sides of the debate.
We have an imminent danger of radical Islam in Austria, but it's a consequence of mass migration.
The people he talks about, who he calls migrants, they're actually refugees fleeing violence.
Just turning midday on this Monday here in Moscow. Thanks for joining us. It's RT International. A cargo plane has crashed into a residential area close to Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan. The number of people dead is still unclear, but the country's health ministry says the figure exceeds 30. We understand 6 children are believed to be among the fatalities. The plane went down in the early hours of Monday morning, causing huge damage to dozens of houses. All 4 crew members died in the crash, but most of the casualties were among the local villagers. We caught up with some of the survivors and their relatives.
We saw a huge wave of fire passing by. It lasted about a second. We rushed out of our home immediately to try to find people from the plane. We found 5 bodies. 1 man was still alive when we found him. Blood was pouring out of his mouth and he soon died. A lot were killed. Whole families are gone in some houses.
RT's Roman Kozyrev has more details now.
4 people were crew members, and the rest of the victims were on the ground when the Boeing 747 hit the residential area after it missed the runway by about a kilometer and a half. The Boeing 747 belonged to a private Turkish transportation company, and it flew from Hong Kong to Istanbul via Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan. Now, the cause of the crash has not been determined. The investigation committee is working on the scene at the moment, but we have heard from the transportation authorities who said that though it was foggy, the weather conditions were still suitable for landing. In other words, there was enough visibility for a safe landing. So the investigation still continues.